So episode 6 of One Punch Man was definitely a lot more, I guess you can say, normal, or definitely, a lot more chilled out compared to the previous episodes, because this right here, it mainly showed off other heroes while introducing some S ranks. And of course we see now that we're getting hinted at something big will definitely happen soon, with either we have all these monsters that are like really strong gathering in City Z, or there's like one real monster that's like a real danger to both humans and monsters. One of the scenarios will like definitely happen, and right now I'm definitely looking forward to it. But this episode, like I said, to me, it was definitely a lot more chilled out compared to others. And so we see now that, like the episode started off like any other day, where we have Saitama in his apartment, and we have Genesis, and we see him now writing down pretty much everything Saitama is doing, so that way he can use it for like some kind of like training regimen. And so we see now that while Saitama was like laying around, we see that, all week he has not done, nothing really huge or any like hero work. And we see now that if any C rank hero goes without doing like one task or any hero work, they will actually lose their rank, and they will also lose their registry. And so right now, that right there definitely raised, a few red flags, because we see now that normally that, Saitama, he actually watches the news, and we see now that right there always let him know when like some kind of monster or when some huge crime is actually going down. And so right now, there was like nothing going on through the week, but we see that all these C rank heroes, they actually have to go out there and look for any crime, so that way they can put a stop to it. And so right now we see that Saitama, he had to hurry up, because right now, I think he said that either 5 or 4 days in a week already passed. So right now he was definitely running short on time. And we see now that like Genesis, of course Genesis was like gonna go with Saitama, because that right there is the master. But if that happened and Saitama, did something, then obviously it would go to the S rank, then the C rank. And so right now, Saitama, throughout the episode, he was making up some kind of BS, and Genesis actually boarded, because that way it would get Genesis to do what was supposed to be training, even though, Saitama was like mainly just fooling him. Because obviously he has no idea what to teach him, because all Saitama knows is that his strength and all that training that he did, it would not benefit Genesis at all, because the guy is a cyborg. So obviously, he not have any muscles that can get stronger like Saitama did. And so right now, where we have Saitama running around looking for anything he could do, it was actually pretty quiet. Like we see now, for once, it was actually peaceful in the city, and obviously there's not a good thing. And we even see now that the next day, because previously Saitama had gave up, and he was like gonna save that for the tomorrow version of him. And we see now that nothing but like still going on. But eventually now Sonic actually found him. And I will say that it was definitely cool to see Sonic in like some regular clothes, then obviously in that ninja outfit of his. But we see now that, Sonic, he actually wanted revenge on Saitama, but obviously this guy is too busy, and there is no way they can fight. And so we see that Sonic was definitely not going to let Saitama go easily, and we see him now trying to attack him. And we even have Saitama biting this guy's sword and breaking it with like no problem. And so even this guy's mouth is like super freaking strong, which is freaking hilarious. And so right now we have, some girl talking to some big buff dude, claiming that, some kind of criminal or some bad guy was like going around causing trouble. And so right now, Saitama was thinking maybe they were talking about Sonic, because technically this guy is a bad guy, because we saw him kill multiple guys, when he was first introduced. So right now Sonic is kind of a criminal, but they were actually talking about Saitama, because he was like running around, and this look of despair that they had on his face actually made him look kind of creepy and scary. So right now people were like worried of him. And we see now that the big buff guy was actually one of the top 10 like C rank heroes, and this guy's name was like Tank Top Tiger. And I gotta say, you know, from his design, I freaking facepalm because this guy looks like a joke. And yet at the same time, everybody knew who he was, which like blew my freaking mind. And so right now we see that that Sonic actually did the one thing that I would like give him props for, and that right there is taking out Tank Top Tiger, because this guy is vastly overrated, because people should not like him, because this guy is like nothing but a big joke. Because we saw Sonic take him out with these exploding shuriken, and obviously after that he was like out of competition for a while. And then we see now that when Sonic learned that Saitama was a hero, you know, we see him now playing the role of a villain, you know, going around causing all the destruction. And we see now that at one point, you know, like there was this car that was actually going to hit this little boy, and we had Saitama here actually, you know, like stopping it, and that right there was like freaking awesome. And so now when Saitama realizes that Sonic here is now being a bad guy, you know, we see him, you know, springing into action, because at first he was not doing nothing, and we even have Sonic, you know, about to go at him, attack him again, and we see, you know, Saitama's speed once again play a huge role, and he got behind him so quickly, and with like one chop, he had took Sonic out. And so now with him being gone, we go back to the hero organization, and we see now that apparently that the rumor, you know, of some threat appearing in City Z was like definitely on the heroes' radar. And we see now that they were going to send two heroes there, one named Golden Ball and the other name was what was his name? Spring Machismo, something like that. But this guy had, you know, and also a mustache, and he also was a sword user. And so we see now like there was this one girl named Tornado who actually wanted to go, but they would not send her. And we see now that right there actually made her mad. And even though her name was Tornado, apparently she has like some kind of psychic ability. So I do wonder if maybe the reason why she's called Tornado, because when she gets angry enough, it's possible that she does use the power to actually make them. But even though they would have sent her, you know, it was obvious that she really would want to, because obviously she could handle it, especially with her being an S-rank. But to them, they felt like, you know, this right here was no S-rank matter, so there was, you know, no reason for her to go. And so pretty much after that, we have Genesis actually staying behind, and we see him now scrubbing the bathroom, and then we have like some kind of monster appear from the ground, and this guy was like covered and what I thought at first was like seaweed, but apparently, you know, these were like his tentacles, and we could not really see his body because it was like blacked out by like shadows. But this guy definitely had, you know, some creepy eyes and like a jigsaw puzzle mouth, you know, something like that. And so right now where we have, you know, our heroes, you know, walking around, obviously, you know, right now it seemed like a ghost town because there were no people around here. And so we see now that eventually they have found this hole. We have the monster, you know, walking behind him, and they picked up on this thing, you know, almost instantly. But now we see them, you know, running back. And so right now they finally spot the monster, and we see that Golden Ball, he was like going to attack it first, and we see that what he can do is he can fire these custom made golden balls, and apparently they have the power to transform and become different things. Because when he fired the first one, you know, at first I thought it could be like some kind of like claw looking thing, but it became almost like a drill. But we see that this monster, not only did he, you know, deflect that with no problem, but we see him now wrapping one of the tentacles around Golden Ball, dragging him, you know, like underground, and just, you know, throw him around like he's a freaking ragdoll. And that right there actually, you know, took him out. And then we have Spring now going at it. And right now, you know, at first these two seem fairly even, but obviously, you know, Spring here knew that he was definitely in trouble, and we even see him now calling for backup. And so right now, you know, we have all these other heroes, you know, now being alerted about this alarm. And we even see, you know, these like random heroes. And apparently one of them actually, you know, wanted to go there, but apparently he had to be, you know, Tank Top Tiger rank or higher to go. So I do wonder if the heroes could even done anything, because both Spring and Golden Ball, they were A rank. So that means all these other heroes, despite how funny they look, were they also that high as well? Or is it possible that, some of them were like, B or obviously, A rank as well? But right now we see the aftermath, and Spring is like messed up. This guy is pretty banged up. His sword is broken. He even used his ultimate attack, which I believe was called Tomboy, and this monster even dodged that. But obviously, Spring here did get him a little bit. And so right now, Spring had realized that the reason why CDZ is like so dangerous, or Ghost Town, when it come to heroes, is because if you gotta fight heroes like this, if you gotta fight monsters like this, obviously you would want to like stay away. And so right now, when he passed out, that monster here was like definitely disappointed. But then we have Saitama, who would like come back from the store. And so when this monster had, realized that like he can at least have some fun messing with this human, because obviously he would not know if Saitama was the hero or not. We see him now trying to attack it, and obviously we have no idea what happened, but obviously Saitama had won that, and we see him now cooking his tentacles for like some kind of soup. And Genesis, being an android, had analyzed that the material, the seaweed, as like he was calling it, apparently that right there is like good for hair growth, but that right there is only in a theory right now. There's no proof behind that. And of course, Saitama here was like saying, no one said anything about hair, but obviously, that right there is probably what it was for. And so we see now that when this monster, was defeated by Saitama, no one knew who it was, but everyone thinks that now Saitama is some kind of monster, because we saw the aftermath of their fight, and we see that, one building is like, it's pretty much destroyed, and the other one also took some damage as well. And so right now, because of that, all the other heroes are definitely on high alert. Oh, and also there was like one hero they mentioned called Watchdog, and this is a man, like wearing a dog suit, and I thought, oh my freaking god, there is no way they could be serious. But apparently this guy is not only an S rank, but he is also one of the, his monster taking down skills are top freaking notch. I really hope they show Watchdog fighting, because, that right there, I have to see to believe. But we see now that like no one knew that it was Saitama who had took down that monster. But at least now I believe that from like beating Sonic, he actually did move up from like rank 388 to like 342 or something like that. I just know that, right now Saitama is still very low, and obviously he has a long way to go to reach, the top 10 for C ranks, but at least he's like making progress, unlike Genesis, because we see now that right now he is still at the rank of all the S ranks, being at rank 17, but his popularity is at rank 6. Because obviously he placed the whole cool guy, and that right there apparently got him a lot of fans, which like blows Saitama freaking mind. But to me, that right there was hilarious. And also after the reports about what Golden Ball and Spring had went through, we have like some kind of mafia girl being told what happened, and we see now that this girl is obviously a very, very high ranking member. I do wonder if she's also an S rank, but obviously they would not show her, and also introduce Tornado without a reason. So I do feel like these two heroes will play a major role in some way, depending on next week or the week after. But I'm definitely I'm definitely interested to see how these two, because they were showing off, I do wonder how they will interact with Saitama. But overall, this episode to me was definitely good. Like I said, it was a bit of a step back, from all the earlier ones, but overall it was still good. And also we saw Hammerhead again, who has now changed, and we see him now working. And even Snakebite, or Snake, whatever his name was, he also is no longer a hero, because both of them now, have jobs that require them to wear suits, and that right there was hilarious. But overall, let me know what you guys thought, and please don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps me out. But as always, you gotta take it easy. I will see you all next time.